Dear students, in this class we will discuss about the determination of molecular weight. So far you have learnt about what is molecular weight and what are the different types of molecular weight, like number average molecular weight, weight average molecular weight, viscosity average molecular weight, and sedimentation average molecular weight. And there are different methods of determining the molecular weights of a particular polymer. We have light scattering method, ultracentrifugation method, viscometric method, membrane osmometric method. So by these methods you can determine any of these four type of molecular weights. So at first we are going to discuss about the viscometric method for determining the molecular weight. So by this method you can determine about the viscosity average molecular weight mv. So before you understand this topic, let us say what is mean by viscosity. Viscosity is the resistance to flow, or viscosity is the property of a solution to know the resistance to flow or the flow properties. How the viscosity is related to the molecular weight of a particular polymer? This is the question that might arise in your mind. You know, the flow properties of different fluids are different. So the oil flows slowly when compared to water because the oils are more viscous than water or any other solvent, and hence oil takes much time to flow. So this flow property or viscosity is a measure of hydrodynamic volume, or in turn it is related to the molecular weight. So if you dissolve a particular polymer in a solvent, by increasing the amount of the polymer, the viscosity of the solution increases. If you dissolve more amount of polymer, then the viscosity of the polymer also increases. So therefore the viscosity is related to the molecular weight of the particular polymer, or the hydrodynamic volume property of a particular polymeric material. Okay, so through the viscometry you are measuring the flow time of a particular fluid or a polymer solution. Okay, so this flow time measurements will help us to measure ultimately the molecular weight of the polymer. So what is the relationship between molecular weight, a mathematical relationship between molecular weight and the viscosity? So you know a very popular Mark-Havnik equation, which is eta is equal to k m power a. Eta is equal to k m power a, where eta is the inherent viscosity. Eta is called inherent viscosity. M is the molecular weight. K and A, they are both constants. Eta is the intrinsic viscosity, M is the molecular weight, K and A are constants for a particular polymer system, for a particular polymer dissolved in a solvent. So this K and A value differ from polymer to polymer, or for one single polymer, one solvent to another solvent. Okay, so the K and extensive values of K and A for different polymers, for different solvent systems are available in the table in any polymeric books. For unknown polymer, the K and A can also be determined. There are methods to determine the K and A values for unknown polymer. Okay. So the only thing what you have to know is that what you have to measure is the intrinsic viscosity. So if you measure the intrinsic viscosity, you can very easily calculate the molecular weight of a polymer. Okay. So measuring the intrinsic viscosity is the objective of viscometric measurements. Okay. So how we are going to determine the molecular weight of a polymer through viscometric method experimentally. That's what we are going to see now. Okay. So experimentally, we need an apparatus called viscometer. So the viscometer is an apparatus which is used to find. So I have drawn you two types of viscometer in the diagram in the board. So one is Oswald viscometer, another is the Hublot viscometer, or it is called a suspended level viscometer. So both the viscometer has got its own advantages and limitations. The first one is called Oswald viscometer, where you can find a bigger bulb and a smaller bulb, and these two bulbs are connected by a small tissue tube. This is a tissue, small tube. Okay, and in the bigger bulb, you will find a mark. You will find a mark, that is an upper mark. One is an upper mark, another is a lower mark. Okay, similarly here you will find an upper mark and a lower mark. This is upper mark and a lower mark. Okay, so in the Oswald viscometer, the measurements are very easier. Okay, the only disadvantage you have is you need to replace the viscometer, or you need to wash the viscometer for polymer solutions of different concentrations. Suppose you have a series of 5 polymer solutions, for 5 concentrated polymer solution from 0.1 grams deciliter to 0.5 grams per deciliter. Then for every polymer solution, you need to wash this viscometer. You need to make it clean before you go for another measurement. Otherwise, the concentration already available concentration in the Oswald viscometer will disturb the other measurement. Okay. Whereas in Hublot viscometer, from one higher concentration, you can dilute the solution further and further, so that you will get different measurements in one solution. By adding the solvent, you can dilute the polymer solution and go for different flow timings for different concentration. Okay, but what are the necessary points or precautions you need to observe before in viscometric in measurements? One is you need to take sufficient concentration that will give you the reduced viscosity, eta reduced viscosity between 1.1 to 1.5. Okay, so the reduced viscosity should be in the range from 1.1 to 1.5. Okay, so not every concentration, every polymer concentration can be used here. Okay, this is the one condition. Okay, number 2, the viscosity measurement should be made always at a constant temperature, not with too much of variation. If the temperature of the polymer solution varies, naturally the flow property will be affected. You know, you take a thick concentrated oil, thick oil, and when you heat up the oil, what happens? The oil flows freely. The thickness of the oil, viscosity of the oil gets reduced, because when a solution moves or flows, the the force of attraction between the different layers of liquids disappears. So therefore, the solution moves freely over the layers. So therefore, if you increase the temperature, the flow property will be affected. So throughout the viscometric measurement, the temperature should be kept constant and should not vary to the maximum of plus or minus 0.02 degrees centigrade. 0.02 degrees centigrade variation is not allowed, not tolerated. Okay. So one is, the first condition is you must maintain a proper concentration. Number two, the temperature should be maintained constant, and the flow time of a particular concentration solution should be greater than 100 seconds. Greater than 100 seconds. Okay, so if the solution flows much faster, okay, it is less than 100 seconds, then the measurement become inaccurate. Okay, then the viscometer consists of a fine capillary. Okay, and the viscometer should always be, the head, osmotic head should be always equal during or throughout the measurement. It should be kept vertical, perfectly vertical. Otherwise, what happens? The pressure head on the viscometer bulb, the pressure head will vary. So the variation of the pressure head leads to errors in the measurement. Okay, so this is the next precaution. Pressure head should be maintained. Okay, and the next precaution is the solution should be free from any kind of impurities. Okay, the solution should be free from any kind of impurities. Otherwise, the impurities will disturb the flow time. So we have to be precautious while measuring the flow time of a polymer solution with these 4 points. One is reduced viscosity should be 1.1 to 1.5. Temperature should not be allowed to vary greater than plus or minus 0.02 degrees centigrade, and the flow time should exceed 100 seconds, and the pressure rate should be maintained well, and there should not be much variation. It should be kept vertical. Okay, so with these precautions, you can go for the measurement or determination of an intrinsic viscosity. Okay, so how to perform the experiment? Okay, so let me first explain you the procedure, experimental procedure for determining using a Ostwald viscometer. Okay, so before you go for the measurement, you must thoroughly clean the viscometer free from impurities or any other polymer which was previously used in the viscometer. So you need to take a solvent, good solvent, and remove the impurities or any other dissolved material or deposited material in the viscometer. So the tissue tube should be very clean. Tissue tube should be very clean before you go for the measurement. Okay, so and then choose a polymer and solvent system. Okay, choose a polymer and a solvent system. Say for example, polyvinyl alcohol. It dissolves in water. It dissolves in acetone. Okay, polystyrene. It dissolves in aromatic solvents like benzene. Okay, so likewise, you must choose a suitable solvent to dissolve the particular polymer. Okay, then first you must find the flow time of a particular solvent in which you prepare the polymer solution. Okay, so the plain solvent should be taken in the Ostwald tube. Okay, so always take it in the smaller bulb. Okay, take the solutions in the smaller bulb, plain solvent. Okay, and suck the solution by through some suction meter. Okay, you have to suck this polymer solvent which is available, so that the solvent from here flows, okay, flows, reaches above the upper mark. Okay, so when it reaches above the upper mark, keep your stopcock ready. Keep your stopcock ready. Okay, and then release the suction. The polymer solvent solution will slowly come down. When it comes the upper mark, okay, you can on the stopcock. Okay, and the solution slowly moves down, and when it reaches the lower mark, okay, then note the timing. So the time taken to flow from here to here, time taken from upper mark to lower mark is noted. Okay, so that is known as the flow time of the particular solvent. I hope you are clear. So we have to take up the solvent, okay, in which the polymer is dissolved, plain solvent. So it is to be taken in one bulb, then sucked through the other bulb, other mouth, and then the solvent level reaches above the upper mark. It slowly comes down. When it reaches the upper mark, you have to note the time. So the time polymer solvent will go down. When it reaches the lower mark, you have to note the time. Okay, so this is the experiment is over. Is up to here. Okay, then this is called, what you measured is the flow time of solvent. Flow time of solvent. It is noted as T0. Okay. Then the next step, prepare polymer solutions of different concentration using the same solvent. Okay. Say for example, you can prepare from 0.1 grams per deciliter to 0.2 grams per deciliter. You can take from 5 to 10 concentration variations. Okay. So 0.2, 0.195, 0.19, like 0.185, 0.180, so like this. Okay. So prepare polymers of different solutions. So for example, if I prepare 0.1 gram in 100 ml, it is 0.1 grams per deciliter solution. Okay. So I have to prepare polymer solutions of different concentration. Say 0.1, 0.2, 3, 0.4, 0.5. Is it visible? Okay, I will write it. So I prepare polymers of 5 concentration. Okay. Then take up this polymer solution in the viscometer. Okay. Suck the solution, polymer solution above the upper mark. Release it. When it comes to the upper mark, note the timings, and up to the polymer solution reaches the lower mark. Okay, so the time taken for a polymer solution to flow from upper mark to lower mark is called the flow time of a particular polymer solution. So that should be noted as flow time. Say for example T. Okay, so first solution may be T1, T2, this is T3, T4 and T5. Okay. And this flow time, okay, so you will get different flow times. Say for example 120. Okay, as the concentration increases, the flow time also increases. 130, 132, 142. Like this, polymer might increase. The flow time of a solvent is lower than the first solution. Say for example 105 seconds. 105 seconds. So Cheve, you find the flow time of polymer solution of different concentration. So every time while measuring this, okay, you must clean the viscometer, okay, and before you are going for the next measurement, you must clean the viscometer, okay, with the pure solvent, then refill with the fresh solution and the new concentrated, different concentrated solutions. Okay, so like this, I have to find the flow time. After finding the flow time, so I must measure this eta relative. That is, this is called a relative viscosity, which is equal to T by T0. Relative viscosity, eta relative is relative viscosity, whose formula is T by T0. T is the polymer flow time of a solvent and T0 is the flow time of a, flow time of polymer solution. T0 is the flow time of a solvent. So for example, here this is 120 by 105. Okay, so it comes maybe around 1 point something. Okay, 1 point something, 1.463 something. Okay, I am roughly writing this. Okay, so similarly you find this for different solution. Okay, 125 by 105, 130 by 105, 132 by 105, 142 by 105. So you find out the relative concentration of different polymer solution. So the next measurement should be eta specific viscosity. Eta Sp is called a specific viscosity. This is relative viscosity. What is eta specific viscosity? It is equal to eta relative divided by C. Okay. So eta relative is this one, 1.463 divided by concentration of the particular polymer solution. C is the concentration. So this should be 0.1. Okay. So you will get then 0.463 something like that. Okay. Then similarly you find out for different concentration. The next measurement should be eta inherent viscosity. Eta inherent viscosity, INHERENT, inherent viscosity. Eta inherent viscosity is equal to eta relative by logarithmic value of eta relative by C. Eta relative by C. This is nothing but eta relative by C. Okay. And then now from this you measure another viscosity, eta intrinsic. This is eta in the matrix. Two lines should be kept. This eta intrinsic is equal to eta specific by C. Eta specific by C when concentration C tends to become 0, or eta relative by C when the concentration C tends to 0. So this is how we measure the eta intrinsic viscosity. Okay, so we have measured from flow time of a polymer or solvent through formulas, through calculations. We have measured the eta intrinsic viscosity. Okay, the next step is finding the molecular weight from the eta intrinsic viscosity. Okay, so how to find this eta intrinsic viscosity? See this, eta is equal to Km power A. Okay, so I have told you this eta intrinsic viscosity is equal to eta specific by C when C tends to become 0, when the at 0 concentration of polymer solution, when the eta relative viscosity is measured, eta specific by C is measured, it is called eta inherent viscosity. How to measure at 0 concentration? I'll explain you through a graph. Okay. So now this can be a double plot of eta specific by C, okay, or eta intrinsic by C, eta relative by C, okay, against to different concentration. Okay, so we have polymers of different concentration from 0.1, 0.4, 0.5. So this one, eta specific by C, okay, is taken in one plot, and the other plot, double plot, is eta relative by C. So here you will get polymers of, you will get for 5 different solution, you will get of this type. Okay, you will get a graph of this type. So extrapolating this to 0 concentration, this value, okay, the intercept value, okay, at 0 concentration will give you eta intrinsic viscosity, that is eta specific by C at 0 concentration. So look at here. So the graph intercepts here. Okay. So this value is eta specific by C at concentration C tends to become 0. So this is measured from the graph. Okay. From this graphical value, you can find the molecular weight of the polymer. Look at this. So eta equal to K m power A. So I take a logarithm on both sides. Okay. So take this log eta is equal to log K plus A log m. Log eta is equal to log K plus A log m. So now this log of eta minus log of K divided by A is equal to log m. So now what is m? M is equal to anti-log of this entire value, log eta minus log K divided by A. So you have measured the viscosity average molecular weight through this experimental technique. Okay. So I will repeat. So polymer molecular weight determination by viscometry through viscometer. So we must first follow the precautions to be followed for before measurement, like concentration, flow time, osmotic head pressure, absence of impurities. Okay. Then choose a solvent and a polymer solution. First find the flow time of a solvent, that is noted as Tg.